Mike's ready to go on the Fan, New York Sports Radio. Mike's on, Mike's on. He'll get you the sports any way that he can. It's Mike Francesa on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN.
From the studios of WFAN, this is Mike's on Francesa on the Fan on this Friday, the already amazing third day of November. A football Friday as the NFL begins its second season. This is where it begins its real opener because November is the month of decision in the NFL, and you're past the World Series. The NFL moves front and center now, and it does with all its issues and all its problems as we hit November, and Thanksgiving's right around the corner. This is when it becomes NFL time. From Thanksgiving Day through the Super Bowl is peak NFL season, and that's when now everybody will zero in on that. Baseball's got its awards and obviously all the stuff that comes at the winter meetings and the trades and the free agency. Still, the Yankees have to name a manager. We'll have Cashman next week. But football is the story. Off last night's Jets win, and not only a win, a terrific Jet performance last night. Forget the late touchdowns, okay? Forget the fact that, but don't let that cloud or the final score cloud the fact that this was just a demolishing win for the Jets. They just romped over the Bills last night, which plays into a theme I'll get to in a minute. But what you have seen here is that we were all wrong about what they were doing this year. They have a plan. I'm seeing the plan. I'm seeing the nucleus and the core starting to be built. The people who want to see McCown sit down right now could not be more wrong. They do not understand the NFL season. If you want McCown to sit down right now, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not what should happen with this team right now, because what they're trying to build is a culture. What they're trying to do is build something under McCagnon and Bowles. They don't want to break it down right now. They want to build something they can carry into next year, and then they'll go put their quarterback in. I'm going to tell you the deep, dark secret. Their quarterback's not on the roster anyway. But right now, this team should do what it's doing. It should compete. It should let Adams grow up into the star he's going to be. It should let some of those young players grow up into the stars they're going to be. That is what should happen with this team right now, and that's what they're doing. You're finding out if the coach can coach. You're seeing that he can. You're seeing that the general manager had a plan. That's what had to be evident this year. Yeah, they've lost some games and they have that they should have won, and they have competed almost every game out of the box, and everything's not perfect. Although yesterday was the best performance, and it was a very poor Buffalo performance. But you're seeing them start to build the franchise back up, and it has the right feel. The players have the right feel, and that's how you plug talent into that when it's heading in the right direction. They are building a foundation. That's what they're doing. You can see that now. They are building a foundation. And the idea of ripping it down now and playing kids and putting in the quarterback, that would be the worst thing you could do for this team right now. Let them play this out. There'll be weeks late in the season you can fool around with the quarterbacks. And like I said, the quarterback's not on the roster anyway. They know it. You know it. I know it. So that's going to be something they'll have to deal with. Whether they go out and get a veteran guy because their draft pick doesn't allow them to get a young quarterback, whatever that is presented to them, they'll deal with that. And getting the quarterback will be the final piece to the puzzle. There's no question about that. But you're seeing them start to put the team in the hands of some young, aggressive players like Adams. Players like that who can lead and who can win in the years to come. And that was a very good win last night. Now let me get to the biggest reason why they won. They won because it's Thursday night, and Thursday night is so set up for the home team, it's ridiculous. I've told you this for years. And with the NFL, which has huge problems now with its ratings, it's a chase right now to know what is the biggest problem. Is it the backlash from the anthem protests, or is it the fact that they have taken every dollar to the point that they have oversaturated their television schedule? It's one or the other. Doesn't matter. They're both detrimental to the league. The league has got to cancel the Thursday night games. Yes, you can play on Thanksgiving. You can play a rare Thursday night game late in the season if you want. But the idea of making these teams play Thursday every week of the season, first of all, the ratings aren't there. Secondly, the schedule is not right. Thirdly, you're actually tearing away from your core Sunday schedule by having to put better games on there if you want to get ratings. And more importantly, the players detest it. And a lot of times they don't compete. It is an unfair. If you do it on Thanksgiving, you can get ready for it. It happens. Is it fair to the road teams on Thanksgiving? No. But you know what? If it's once a year, you can live with it. Every week, somebody has to live with it. It's not right. It's just like the ridiculous London games. The London games are never good. The London competition is never good. We know what's wrong with the NFL. They look at the London thing as a success, except for one thing. There's never been good football played on those fields. And they don't care about that. They look at success in the stands instead of looking at it at the field. And that's what the NFL has to do. They got to go back and look at the field. That's what Goodell doesn't do. That's what these owners don't do. They're such greedy, grubby, greedy guys that they forget the product. If your product's bad, everything's going to suffer. Those London games never produce quality games, ever. First of all, there's big teams that won't go near there. Secondly, they don't produce quality games because they're not set up to do that. Same thing with Thursday night. The league has got to admit its mistake and back off the plan and destroy Thursday night. They'd be smarter in the long run if they also took the Sunday night game out, but they'll never do that. They're too greedy for that. So I understand that. You're not going to win both. They've ruined Monday Night Football with Sunday night. Sunday Night Football is not special in any way. If you watch football all day, it has to be a special game, even for me. And I am the biggest NFL viewer you can be. It's very hard to have someone who's a bigger one. And I tire at the Sunday game at night a lot of times. I'm like, oh, I don't need another football game tonight. I've been watching since 1 o'clock. I tire at that. And if I do, then people are going to never watch it. And the only reason the Sunday ratings are there is because they usually put a very good game on Sunday night, for the most part. So I know they're not going to destroy Sunday night. They should. There should be one primetime game, and Monday Night Football would be like it used to be. You'd look forward to it. But they're not going to do that because their whole gimmick is to create schedules they can sell. But now it's coming back to bite them. So if they show any foresight at all, what they will do is they will back off this highly unpopular, incredibly detrimental Thursday night schedule. It's not helping them. It's producing kickback. The players hate it. The quality of play usually stinks. It's not fair to the road teams. And if it's about safety, it's a mistake. If it's about long-term success, it's a mistake because your product is suffering. So the NFL, which usually can't pass up a buck, if they can pass up that buck in the long run, they'll make more bucks. That's hard for them to do because they're very short-sighted when it comes to money. They can never leave a buck on the table, ever. But sometimes the smart person does leave a buck on the table and then picks up a lot more later. And that's what they should do with this Thursday thing. Because, again, last night, Jets played great, but you had a night where Buffalo, which has played terrifically defensively, did not make a tackle last night. Buffalo played awfully last night. They were a step slow, and they missed tackles. The Jets ran through Buffalo players' arms. Buffalo did not come to play that game last night. That's the biggest reason why the Jets whipped them, is because Buffalo didn't come to play. They didn't come to play because, you know what, it's hard to come play that game on Thursday night. It just is. And you're paying the price for oversaturation, plus health is an issue, plus the players hate it. But all that aside, give the Jets a lot of credit because that was their best effort of the year. That was a resounding win. I know that we talk about finishing, that you didn't like the last couple of touchdowns. So be it. It happens. You know, that can happen late in games, especially in one-sided games. But that game was as one-sided as the Jets can make a game. And it's something they can build on. And you know what? McCown's played really well at quarterback this year. He really has. I understand he's made some bad throws. He's had a couple you really want back. The Miami one, the one before the half against New England. He's not perfect. He's not great. But you know what? He's put a lot of life and he's put a lot of balls on the money. And for the most part, they've looked a lot crisper and a lot better than the Giants have. That's for sure. In a big way. In a big way. So they deserve the kudos today. So we got a lot to get to. We got the Breeders' Cup with Brad later for all you guys who care about that. We'll get it in time for today's races. The Breeders' Cup is today and tomorrow, as you know. So we got Brad coming up at 4. Doc O'Brien on the injuries. We want to really zero in on Watson and Luck with him today because he's got a lot of expertise in both areas. Dennison on college football, Schrager, picks around the league, everything else. Football Friday, back after that.